Good morning, YouTube. So, I didn't get around to doing a video last night. Long week. Conked out early. Got up around 5:30. So it's still pretty early here in California, 7:15 a.m. So please pardon the slow neurons that I'm still experiencing post coffee. So this morning I want to introduce another early piece, just a little footnote that I'm casting, I'm still casting. It's been a little while, about a year that I haven't cast anything significant because I did a little excursion to Houston, Texas, and I've been back now in California for about 10 or 11 months. So I'm getting back into it, but what I'm doing is I'm going back to my early pieces and casting those and then working my way forwards into the present. So I have a lot to do, and that's pretty much that. So this piece is called Top Hatter. I'm going to switch over to it now so that YouTube algorithm deities don't complain about too much verbiage at the beginning. So this is the piece, about 14 inches tall, 9 to 10 inches at the widest points, which would be the middle of the piece there. Not that that's not obvious. This piece was quite the challenge to cast. And everything in it is solid. So it's pretty hefty. It's probably about 30 pounds. No room for hollow spaces in this piece. So I can't get the cursor. I haven't really dove deep into trying to figure out how to get the cursor to appear on the recording screen. But nonetheless, I think I can explain this clear enough. So Top Hatter is a caterpillar and a rabbit sort of combined with these wings in the back. And that thing with teeth, that is a botanical that's growing in the world that it exists in, with other various artifacts and plant life, possibly some oceanic urchin-like creatures growing there at the base. So the challenge with this piece was believe it or not, the chair legs. So he sits on top, and there are these skinny little pillars that hold him up. So in the mold, I put stainless steel dowels and then cast the piece around the stainless steel. So in bronze, that may not be a problem because bronze is much more, the tensile strength of bronze is many levels above pewter, but even bronze can break. So with this piece, the stainless steel dowels are underneath the pewter, and the pewter is probably about 1/8 of an inch in thickness surrounding the stainless steel dowels. And in some cases, I'll do post fabrication insertion of stainless steel dowels into pieces. So I go in, I cut the appendage off, or I have it cast separate, and then I'll drill holes and uh, put the stainless steel dowels inside the connection areas. And normally I don't epoxy them or anything because pewter is very soft, and you can just tap the stainless steel dowels in, and tension alone will hold it indefinitely. But if you have doubts, then you can also use epoxy. It's not a big deal. The only thing is that if it's an internal thing, I would be a little leery of a chemical response over time. Like if you seal that epoxy 360 degrees inside pewter, how over time the gases from that epoxy decaying might affect the pewter in some way. So unless it's on the bottom of a piece or somehow modeled on the surface and then cloaked with the patina, I would not suggest embedding epoxy and hermetically sealing it inside pretty much metal of any kind, but especially something more porous like pewter is a little more absorbive than more denser metals. So there were several pieces to be integrated onto this sculpture. It was not cast looking like this. So you've got the one to the left with the circle, kind of pipe turned on its edge, and then the little figure coming back around here in the middle with the horns on both sides of its head. So that's 1, 2, and then the top hatter is 3. His wings are 4. And I believe the plant, the tower, the thorned toothed tower was cast with the base. So it's about a 5-piece mold, meaning there are 5 molds for this sculpture, maybe 6, because there might be some part in here that I'm not thinking about so early in the morning. The wings do have stainless steel dowels tension placed in them. They're pretty heavy, and I felt like they needed some extra support. I usually record the sculptures late night, so you've got a little sunshine coming through on the left there. I think the Sony cam is dialed in pretty good now. I got the ISO figured out, and I would highly suggest anyone who's using the Sony ZV E10 Mark II to put it in manual, and that way when you're recording and you're doing pre-setup, watching the computer screen and then looking at the camera screen as well, and trying to dial those two things in together along with the lighting, that you can manually touch screen on the Sony camera the ISO and look at the differences as you're changing back and forth from different ISO settings. It takes some time, but I encourage you to keep persevering and watch YouTube videos and just keep doing your thing until you figure out your way through the jungle of choices. This piece has been hermetically sealed with an archival coating called Everbright. That's the sheen that you're seeing on it. I'd like a little more of a matte finish. I wish they made a matte version of Everbright, but they don't. But it's a small price to pay for what it gives. I mean, it's giving a bit more shine than I would prefer, but I feel like that's okay. I mean, because the lighting is artificial, and in everyday light, day-to-day life light, it's fine. There's no story behind this piece. So since there's no story, there's not much to talk about there being no story. Just a lot of enjoyment of having a good time pulling all these different aspects together and making it work. There is a little bit of an Alice in Wonderland vibe with the top hat and the caterpillar and the rabbit, but it's in the margins. It's definitely not referencing Alice in Wonderland, just simply related, perhaps, in some far off kind of way. I hope that these pieces provoke curiosity and narrative when folks mingle with them. I feel like there's an innocence to not knowing and simply creating anyway. So creating in that field of simply enjoying something and still staying dialed into form and function and aesthetics and beauty, refinement, being true to the material and the tradition insofar as crafting and design. And the mood of the piece still feels good. So the chair-like contraption that he's sitting on is anchored to a dragon's head sort of motif that's in the middle there, that's coming back around. And then you've got a spiral construction that's embedded on. So a lot of engagement in pieces parts, how to construct something with a lot of dynamic body parts and still have a kind of quiet repose at the end, and not a lot of chaos and salvage yard art vibes. some salvage yard art's pretty nice, actually, but some of it can sort of get away with itself in that you have to stand way back to see the piece, and you get up close and things get pretty lost. This piece holds up either way. I feel from a distance it reads really well. Down below there's I see a birdhouse in the back there. I rediscover these pieces when I record them, and haven't looked closely at this piece for a while. The very base there at the bottom, it's like a little hut. You'll see a door going in there at some point here. So in this piece, there's 3 living sentient beings. The little guy in the middle there that's just coming around to the left, it's got a little, sort of looks like a little clown nose. So he's existing. The plant life itself, the tower, and then the top hatter himself. Of course, the plant-like beings there at the bottom. This piece was originally microcrystalline wax, and it's an edition 1 of 1, and it is available from the studio. My main objective in casting these pieces is simply to, now that the wax original is gone and been recycled and most likely is in the form of another sculpture that's in a mold waiting to be excavated, is to get them in metal. I'm not really interested in doing 12 editions of this. It's a lot of work, and I would rather put that energy and time into simply another sculpture. So I would say 100% of my medium to large pewter sculptures, they are 1 edition of 1 edition. So this is both the artist proof and the only edition. So there he is, top hatter. When days were more innocent, if I do say so. This is probably around 2016, 2017. Thank you for joining me this morning, and hope your week's going well. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to drop a comment, questions, answers. And until we meet again, wait for him to come back around. Thank you once again, and have a good day or night wherever you are.